This is a Podco original.
Nice recap, Lindsey. You've come a long way from the days of never watching the episodes.
What the fuck are you talking about,
what?
Sarah? No, I actually said, you stupid son. I hate you, Lindsey. I hate you, Lindsey. I hate you.
For what purpose would I be taking notes in my adult life, you know?
Am I using the English alphabet? Yes. Do I have to use it? Nope. Literally just do this wiggle while I'm thinking this thought. Next wiggle, next thought.
Hi.
We are on a podcast.
How was the trip to Hawaii? You guys look so vibrant
Thank
with your
you.
Hawaiian shirts.
You know what? You didn't want to get these at the tourist shop.
But you did tell me they would look cool.
Right?
And
right here is our validation.
Yeah.
you
Thanks,
were
Dan.
right.
Yep.
You guys look awesome.
No,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
I love this. Lindsey got me this from Scotch and Soda.
Scotch and Soda. Thanks to
Shout out Scotch and
Michelle
Soda.
Marie PR and Scotch and Soda.
Shout out
We're
Michelle.
looking good.
I love, here's what happened. Lindsey said, Dev's a medium, Dan's an extra large. Can I get some clothes for my boys? And they said, yes, but they only sent larges.
Yep.
And I can't fit these.
Yep.
They run
Dan
small.
is too luscious for larges. And I fit them.
And do you know how excited I was? Because anything I have, I think I get off more on offering any little thing that I have to other people. I get off on the opposite of gatekeeping. Okay?
Yeah.
Just
you want
including
to
everything.
share
I
it.
wanted
Yeah.
that shit more for you guys than I wanted for myself.
Hey.
I should have double checked the bag. But I did.
all good.
I said medium and an extra large. But they're super lovely over there, and I know that you would be able to check out
Go
some more
in.
stuff
Yeah,
if you
No,
want.
I'll go
I
back.
really like
Yeah.
their stuff. And one man's too tight shirt is another man's flowing
big
So you got
Hawaiian
two nice flowing Hawaiian shirts, man.
Thanks for this, though, Lindsey. I like this red.
Good. I'm glad.
We popping out here.
Yeah,
We popping
honey.
this summer.
It's your color.
We're popping this summer. So we have a rewatch, listeners.
Our first rewatch
Yeah.
in about 35
30 years.
months,
35 years.
right? 35
Oh,
months. 35
Okay,
months.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
What do we got, Lindsey?
We are on 204. We're on notebooks.
Hey.
Notebooks, okay? This was written by Scott Fellows and Lazar Sarek,
Man.
his brother.
Whoa.
No,
Not
it's
at
not
all.
his brother. It was written by Scott Fellows and Lazar Sarek. It was directed by David Kendall
Hey,
or
it's
Paul
Big
Hohen.
Dave.
No, we're pretty sure it's David Kendall.
Recent guest of the pod. If you want to hear from a director of Neds, check his episode out.
Go
David
listen
Kendall.
to his episode. Very informative. And so we open in Sweeney's class. Sweeney is talking about Mendeleev, how he is the father of the periodic table. He looks over Ned's shoulder to see Ned is drawing a big Ned holding a tiny Sweeney by the collar. Okay. Class dismisses. Sweeney says, "You haven't been doing well in my class." Ned says, "Not true. I haven't been doing well in any class."
It's not
Okay.
personal, brother.
Not at all.
Sweeney says, "No wonder why Ned is doing poorly. His notebook is terrible." He shows Ned the golden notebook encased in a glass box written by a former A+ student, Sam Golden. If Ned's notebook looked more like that, he'd stand a chance of passing. Sweeney roars. Ned wants it. So
I will have you.
Ned asks him, "Why is it called the golden notebook? Is it written in golden?" And Sweeney goes, "No, you idiot. No." He just says, "Is it written in golden?" Which I thought was a great line. Ned also says, "Golden notebook, you will be mine."
You will be mine.
So he's obsessing over this thing. Ned walks with Mose to her locker. Ned says, "The golden notebook is amazing. It's like Sweeney's entire science class in one beautiful notebook without the lameness or the Sweeney-ness." Mose says, "So when are you going to steal it?"
Hey.
Ned says he's going to borrow it. Stealing is bad, borrowing good. Mose says, why don't you just ask him to loan it to you? Ned says, no. This way, Sweeney can't say no, and I'll return it after the test. Mose loses her notebook. She's going through her locker. She says, "The key to success is a good notebook. I'd be lost without my notebook." I lost my notebook.
Terrible.
Oh no. It's before Ned can even respond, a flurry of papers fall around him as a result of the sheer speed of Mose running to find said notebook.
She's fast.
Ned shuts Mose's locker to find Cookie loaded down with extension cords, plugins. It's cumbersome. He says he's been listening and recording, and he shows Ned the playback. Cookie says, "I'll never have to take another note, and I don't have to carry around those heavy books," as he carries around the heaviest electrical equipment known to man.
Creme master.
It's an entire electric farm on his body.
Oh, yeah.
Cookie asks, "When are you going to steal the golden notebook?" Ned says, "Borrow."
There's a difference.
Mose searches for her notebook, sees one wedged behind the computer desk, and pulls it out. It says, "My Innermost Thoughts" by S.C. It says, "I saw Lisa Zemo take money from Durga's purse." Mose turns to find her notebook in Lost and Found. She looks at the other notebook. She says, "No, I'm not going to steal it." Ned appears in the doorframe from out of nowhere and says, "Not steal, borrow." All right? Cookie sits in class. He presses record, checks the audio, and activates the fake open eyes on his glasses so that he can sit back
Hilarious
and
gag.
snooze.
Wait,
Hilarious
so this
gag.
isn't the Cram Master Flash. Which one is this? He's just recording with his glasses only?
Oh yeah, this isn't the Cram Master
This isn't
Flash.
the Cram Master
The Cram
Flash
Master Flash
episode.
is you like cram studying through
Cram
technology.
studying.
This is you not needing
Nuts.
to take notes because you're recording everything and it's all on tape
Oh, it's
and you
all
can
on the
just watch it
tapes.
back.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I love this gag with the fake eyes on your glasses so that you can sleep.
Oh, yeah,
during
it's like
class.
there's a bunch of memes behind that
Yeah,
thing. That's so
it's
wild.
funny as fuck.
Dope.
Now, Ned and Gordy are in the vents. Gordy says Ned forgot one very important thing. Ned says, like this identical notebook that I'll swap in so no one knows it's missing. And Gordy says, no. And he holds up caramel-covered apples with nuts to celebrate a job well done. Ned says, just hook me up. Gordy lowers Ned, Mission Impossible style, into Sweeney's classroom. Drops him immediately.
Fun gag.
I bet
Then
it
he
was.
does some-
Had to have been.
Friggin' hilarious spread eagle in that vent trying to get his legs on either side, just the way he tries to
some
like brace
foundation.
himself to get Ned back up there. He gets his grip and he pulls him up in time to hide from Martin Corley, who opens the door to the classroom to grab his binder, or so Ned thinks, until Martin stops by the door, turns around and greets a hanging Ned. Hi Ned.
Bruh.
Ned says, the door was unlocked. Gordy says, this was more fun.
And he's right, because being dropped Mission Impossible style down from a vent is more
I bet
fun.
that felt glorious.
Yeah, that's one of those like just good Ned's gags that we were blessed to get to do on children's television, where like you read it in the table read the week before, and you just go, oh, this is gonna be great.
Gonna work.
Yeah, and then we have a stunt person on set, and they strap you into a harness and kind of give you all like the safety protocols, and they're like, we're not gonna drop you, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, let's go. Yeah, it's a blast.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love that shit.
So Gordy tries to swing Ned towards the golden notebook case, and in the process, they break every glass jar in the lab. The dummy swings into the shelves, and as Gordy swings Ned from side to side, Gordy says, "It's okay. I'll have the night guy get that." Ned finally reaches the case. He switches the notebooks. Ned is pulled back up just in time as Sweeney enters a destroyed classroom. Right? Claire and Lisa ask Mose what she's reading because she's been glued to it. And she says, this notebook is unbelievable. Lisa takes it and she says, I never stole any money from Durga. Mose looks at her with a look like, we all know you stealing, girl. Like, what was the look I gave her? I gave her a look like,
Sure, bitch.
sure. Claire says, don't let untrue statements bother you, until she grabs the notebook and finds a rumor about her that she made out with Billy behind the school. She says, I don't even know a Billy. Mo says that's Loomer's first name.
Ooh.
Mo says the book says he's a sissy. They look over to see Loomer crushing nuts on the desk with his head. Claire says she'll sue for defamation of character. And Mo says it's someone with the initials SC. This has this great bit.
This
Lisa
is one of my
says,
favorite Rachel performances.
SC, Claire Sawyer. And Claire says, that's CS. Lisa goes, aha!
Aha! Yeah.
I
that's the
loved
truth.
her delivery
That
of
was
that.
incredible.
SC, Claire, she played it so
Shout out
fucking
Rachel
earnest.
Sibley.
That's
She's the
Claire
best.
Sawyer. That's CS. Ah! Loved it.
Gotcha.
Moshe, she doesn't care who wrote it. It's a real page turner until she sees that someone has written about her. Jennifer is so stuck up, it makes me want to puke. Mose immediately changes her tune. They must find who wrote it. They see Susie Crabgrass in the hall. Of course. SC.
Yeah, see?
Mose fills Ned in on her notebook. He doesn't care unless it says something about him. Ned fawns over the golden notebook, and he opens it like a pop-up book. Seems like he's actually learning. Sweeney approaches. Ned goes through a hilarious comedy of errors. Hey, Mr. Sweeney.
Stealing?
I'm so ready for tomorrow's test. Sweeney looks at him oddly and exits. Martin asks if Ned could repeat what he just said as he ran out of tape. He is wearing Cookie's Tech Farm getup, changing out a VHS tape. LOL. Martin says Cookie had to go to the bathroom and he didn't want to miss a thing. That's when Loomer runs up and asks if this is the notebook that called him a sissy. He sees another entry. CH hates Billy's guts and is going to kick his butt. Loomer sees Coconut Head, charges him with the notebook in hand. Coconut Head does his famous squeal, and Mose takes off after them both with Martin on their heels. Now, Mose reads the notebook, surrounded by Coconut Head, Claire, Loomer, Martin, and Lisa. They ooh and ah, laugh, get angry, and sink as they read. They see Susie. They charge her. Loomer stops to grab a pitchfork from a custodian and continues the charge, thus starts a montage of Cookie's cutout, taking notes for him in class while Cookie dances around with his butterfly net outside.
Yeah.
An angry mob runs past a disguised Susie Crabgrass a la Ned's costume from school clubs. The whole blonde wig with
and
the
mustache.
mustache.
Nice.
Ned continues to play with the golden notebook pop-ups. Cookie opens his locker to a mountain of VHS tapes falling onto him. Sweeney asks Ned if he's ready for the test. Ned shoves the golden notebook under his shirt and wedges it in to look like he stuffed his shirt, a la Madonna's pointy bra. Does calcium have 20 protons? Ned really seems to be learning. So then we go into a clip or a tip montage of take neat, easy to read notes. Here's how you can make every notebook a golden notebook. Write neatly. Always write down what the teacher says. If they say it twice, underline it, and copy your notes in a second notebook. Cookie teases Ned for taking notes the old-fashioned way. Martin approaches, says he's tired from studying for the history test all night. Cookie is shocked. He didn't watch yesterday's history tape or any of them. He's doomed, turns to his smiling cutout loaded with gear. What are you smiling at? Susie is chased into a corner, says she didn't write any of that stuff. The custodian retrieves the pitchfork. The mob is accusing Susie. Mose runs up and says, this isn't Susie's notebook because why would she write something bad about herself? Susie is as dumb as a stump. They see an entry. I can't believe the Wolves made the playoffs. The Wolves haven't made the playoffs in years. Aha, says Lisa Zemo. Mo says the book was written years ago. Loomer says it mentions us by name. It mentions Jennifer, Billy, and Susie, not exactly uncommon names. They apologize to Susie. Loomer says, sorry, Susie, I'll pick you up at 8.
Mistaken
That's a great bit.
Mose throws the notebook away. Someone else comes along and finds it. Mose learned not to believe everything she reads. Cookie cleans up the VHS tapes. Somehow tapes are still falling out of his locker. Ned says handwriting notes is still the best way to go. Ned replaces the golden notebook. Sweeney lowers from the ceiling in the same getup Ned was in, catching him. Sweeney says he wrote the notebook and that some students have to be tricked in order to learn. Ned said, why didn't you just loan it to me? Sweeney said, because then it would be just another boring assignment for you to ignore. Ned gets an A on the test. Sweeney offers Ned a caramel apple before they can bite into them. Gordy rushes in, grabs Sweeney's apple, and gives him a good CGI spin.
Nice. Yeah. And that was episode 204.
Nice recap, Lindsey. You've come a long way from the days of never watching the episodes
Right?
rewatch.
I know. It's actually pretty joyous.
It's pretty joyous.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful rendition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Took us on a journey.
Now,
I had
here's
a
the
lot of
deal.
fun watching
Can
that.
you imagine me doing that for the PLL pun?
Oh.
That's how
And-
thorough I was for the first 3 episodes, and then I literally didn't have time.
That's so much because PLL, that was 11 minutes.
Yep.
PLL's an hour.
Woo! 44
Well,
minutes.
44, yeah.
44 minutes.
That's a lot.
Anyway, so, and I barely broke out into a sweat while I was presenting that to
I
you.
know. You are evolving before our very
top of
eyes,
it.
and I love it. And I'd like to think we're a part of it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Absolutely. Big
I
part.
love that. I'll
Big
take a
part.
little credit.
We can take a little credit. We can, yeah. We can own this.
Note taking, man.
Yeah, I mean, they gave that great tip when they actually get into the notebook tips. I laughed at the first tip, which was, write neatly, because if you can't read it, you can't study it, and made me think of myself and yourself, Daniel.
I mean, absolutely. Oh, bro,
No,
once I learned cursive, I was like, you mean I can just straight from the brain? Absolutely.
yeah,
just waves
your
on a
stenography
page.
is frightening, brother.
I'm in there, man.
I don't think I've actually ever seen
Levels.
a sample of Daniel's handwriting.
Yeah, you did on an episode, and
yeah.
we were shocked. You don't even.
Oh, he does like the big, like you hold your pen even in a strain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how
reading.
he's reading it. It's
See, it's
hieroglyphics.
It's straight up muscle memory. You know, am I using the English alphabet? Yes. Do I have to use it? Nope. I literally just do this wiggle while I'm thinking this thought. Next wiggle, next thought. Take me back.
Next wiggle. next wiggle. I just next wiggled till I was done with the paper.
And it's, doctors do it, man. You ever get a doctor's note and it's like, what? How does that say?
Next wiggle.
Man.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, how were y'all good note takers in school, and has that continued into your adult life?
I was great in school. What was it called? It was called, what do you call it, where you divide your page? Oh, what was the note taking? Cornell notes. Did you guys not do Cornell notes?
What is
No
Cornell
Cornell
notes?
Are you kidding me? Everyone knows this. Vindicate me in the comments, okay? You guys don't know Cornell
Vindicate
notes.
me.
So Cornell notes, I'm going to look them up
never
right
heard
now.
of it. Don't know
all
what you're talking
Cornell
about.
notes, all right? It's just like a method, all right? Cornell note system is a note-taking system devised in the 1950s by Walter Polk, an education professor at Cornell University. I could tell you how, when to use, best use. Let's see, how to write. Here we go. Set up your page. Divide your page into 3 sections, a cue column on the left, a note column on the right, and a summary area at the bottom of the page. It was just a little bit of structure there. I'm
Nice.
sure everyone, I feel like, defaults to Cornell notes. If you're taking good notes, you're going to end up doing pretty much all that.
Nope.
I love it.
No, not a once.
Nope.
No,
not a
really? Wow. It's the
Not
only way
once?
that I could really retain stuff back in school, at least.
Wow. Very systematic.
Systematic. Yeah.
You got to break into that maze
that
with
thing
a
on up.
code. I love that. I was a great note taker. I was
bet you were.
probably the overachieving note taker, trying to literally write down everything. But I
Right.
was also a cursive only handwriter. I did have one girl tell me when I moved out here, your writing is too bubbly. It's too bubbly.
Bubbly?
I said, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about,
what?
Sarah? No, I actually said, you stupid son of a... I hate you, Lindsay. I hate you, Lindsay. I hate you.
Jesus.
But so she told me that it was too bubbly, but I did enjoy writing. Like the act of writing, I found very easy. Like to do spelling words, I just I enjoyed doing cursive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I took good notes. I mean, I was a straight A student, so whatever I was doing was working.
Was working, yeah. And that's what matters, yeah.
I could remember most things before I started smoking weed. And before, life, more experience, your head fills up. But man, I could just remember everything when I was a teenager. Like everything.
Bro,
remember
history
my
facts,
entire
bro?
day.
So
Oh, yeah.
Like everything someone said, everything that happened, it was all in there.
So you obviously haven't adopted a good note-taking practice in your adult life.
For what purpose would I be taking notes in my adult life, Like it makes you know what I mean? Like it makes sense in school. You're writing notes because you're gonna need to know these things for a later
To
test.
accomplish a goal, yeah. Like in life, you
Life
you
now
write
is
down, hey, this is the biggest thing that I would like to get done this year. And
See-
these are the
Oh,
small
goal
steps
setting,
that
goal
I
setting,
take
that's
to
real.
get there.
Yeah. See, that's different from notes for me. Yes,
Goal setting and notes have to go hand in hand.
They're similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they are
what
similar.
what notes become as an adult is just a never-ending to-do list. And yes, I do take many, many to-do lists. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just every day, you're like, oh, let me write down all the things I need to do. Oh my God, it goes on forever.
My
I'll skip
notes
all of it.
section is grocery lists.
Yep.
Yep. I took a ton of notes for when I was getting sober in the program, and just took all those notes on myself. And it was that was probably the first time in a long time that I wrote out a significant amount of.
It is
Research
good
writing.
to
No
do
drugs.
because
Yep.
Hey,
I wish that it could have
over
been. That's
again.
what I said, and then she said, "Could you go a little deeper?
No drugs.
Could you go a little deeper
with that?
Notes are good in terms of retention. So if you learn something, write it down. You will
Prioritize
retain
it by doing that,
differently.
and you
Yeah.
hold on to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And even goal setting, it's good to write it down. It changes your relationship to that goal when you've written it down. It's really good. I've talked to you guys about this. I'm still learning this thing of not telling people my goals.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because we're catching up, or I want to relate, or I want to tell someone some of my goals are big active processes in my mind. And so if I'm catching up with someone who I love, I want to tell them what I'm working on, but there is some weird cosmic, I think they've studied it in neuroscience too, is
I was about to ask you, is that a superstitious trait? But go ahead.
So in
Go ahead.
part it is, but I think they've studied that
No,
when
'cause
you say you're going to do something, it actually activates the part of your brain as if
I
you
accomplished
did
something.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it takes the edge off
accomplishing it.
When you need that
you
edge.
need to accomplish it, and that kind of drive to accomplish it,
Yeah.
it takes that edge off because your brain gets a little
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
the newer
dopamine.
transmitter's just fired, so I'm good.
Yeah, so I'm still fucking learning that one of like, yes, good for me to journal and write down what I want and think about what I want and be clear on what I want and write down my goals. I'm still learning the balance of sharing what I'm working on and my goals.
Right.
Notes have changed so much recently too. I feel like handwritten notes, like I was talking about the wiggle, the thought, and now I'm related to that wiggle. All right. But nowadays people, like you even read this whole thing. You took your notes on a MacBook.
Yeah.
Not a notebook, but a MacBook.
Right.
And,
A MacBook.
a MacBook.
Oh, and Apple Notes? Love
Bro,
Apple
Apple
Notes
Notes,
because
man,
that is also on your phone. Like the
I
notes on
wonder-
my phone or on my computer.
I wonder if there's still that synapse that connects you from the writing of it to the thought up there. And of course it is. I mean, you're texting, your thumbs are doing something. It's just that gesture is a little bit less signature or customized to the thought associated with it. So I wonder how people are doing with note taking these days. Is it as effective?
So with songwriting, like some songwriters are like, like I fucking have to write everything with a pencil on a bit of paper. Like I've never been that way. I write lyrics on a fucking
straight up.
I prefer not to read my handwriting. Like I'm writing that on a fucking note.
Yeah.
I'm typing that on a app. Yeah.
And I this is a tangent, but when I first started kind of recording, not when I first started recording, but I loved the recording method of punch-ins, right?
Yeah.
Where, you just hit record and just start saying where you think, like you got 16 bars to work with. You just start freestyling your little joints and then just building. Okay, I'm going to keep 4 bars of this. Now I'm just going to hit record again, go to the next 4 bar. Like, I don't know. It's just the lack of necessity for the permanence of writing out a whole thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
I like to just go
build
like
it
chunk,
piece by piece.
chunk by
Yeah.
chunk without writing sometimes. Yeah.
Chunk
Do
it
you
up.
guys or have you guys ever not notes but journaled, like have a diary, like journal life thoughts?
Like Moby Dick.
Yeah. I mostly journaled about not being able to journal while I was fucked up. And those are some crazy things because like I wrote in circles, I wrote in clusters. Like there's no page that's just it's like here's a stream of consciousness here, and then it like turns around and goes up here. Like it's a wild stream of consciousness. But I haven't picked that practice back up on the other side of sanity. And so it's actually very hard for me because I always try to write the last draft first, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like that perfect book that never gets written.
Yeah.
And and sometimes like I'm thinking that writing would take, I think I've gotten a lot better in my emotional reactions to things, but I think that would help me know what I'm feeling sooner, because sometimes I feel like I don't know exactly how I feel on something until shit hits the fan or it's too late. And I'm like, oh wait, if I had just put a little bit more thought into like what I actually wanted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can write that and then be able to go out with my second draft of myself, as opposed to like, here's the first draft of me always,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Yeah. Yeah. With Tyler, my roommate, we've been talking about like, I don't know, there's some guy he follows who's like very successful, but he talked about, and it's not quite journaling, but he talked about like making literal time in your week, a chunk of time, to think about thinking, to think about the priorities of your thought, to think about what do you want, like basically set aside time. Because if you don't, you might catch up to it later, and you've been acting out all this shit that you're like, wait, that's not even focused on what I want or fucking care about.
Right.
Yeah.
So like setting aside time in a week, if it's an hour, 2 hours, whatever, to just sit and fucking organize what are my priorities and like what's going on out there, what's going on in here, what do I want, what am I aiming at, what do I need to let go of, like all that shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably what some people do when they're journaling or keeping a diary.
Do you?
I come in and out of keeping a journal. There have been times where it's been a very essential tool in my process, going through certain breakups, like just needing to like write what's happening out. I definitely can get caught in that thing of like, I think all of us do this to some degree, but like get caught in that thing of like, needing whatever I'm writing to like be good. Be
why?
right?
Just let it be.
As if someone's ever gonna read it other than me? Fuck no, they're not.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how do I get to the base level of thoughts, dude? All I'm doing is writing like, well, I'll write about this point of view that I have. It's like, just put words on paper.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you get into it, is like you just have to free yourself on the journal. Just start writing. That's why morning pages are really good. Like,
Julia can't.
yeah, is like this practice of right when you wake up, have a journal next to your bed, and just stream of consciousness. It doesn't matter if you're writing, I don't know what to write. I'm fucking tired, and this is a stupid practice. If that's how you start, great. And write 3 full pages every morning. This is part of like the artist's way, Julia Cameron thing. But that practice, sometimes I come in and out of using. It is a good way, because man, I don't know if you're like me. I wake up with a head full of fucking thoughts. I wake up with like, I get the image of like all the people at a door jam, like 50 people at a door and they can't get through because there's so many trying to get through at once. That's kind of how I wake up, and it takes me like hours to get back to fucking baseline.
And see, writing it down, I think is great too, because it's like you're then stuck with the things that you're able to prioritize from that door jam, and you can choose paths accordingly versus just being in this mixed up world of all this potential. It's like, let's narrow it down a little bit. What is worth you writing down?
Yeah,
and then hopefully you'll be steered towards that path and not get dragged into other people's agendas.
Daniel, have you journaled?
Back in the day, I would do it, but I always had an association with journaling that I was supposed to just say, it was supposed to be like a captain's log from a ship. Like I mentioned Moby Dick. Like, today we headed east 45 miles.
That's the most Daniel journal ever. Saturday, 5 p.m.
Thought I saw a mermaid. It's just some kelp. So it kind of bored me. But music, I wrote a lot of like, things in rhyme. Like that's just what I came up doing, just writing like pages and pages of potential verses.
Wow.
But it was more creative writing than anything about myself. I don't know, because I'm thinking about diaries, like that's a little bit, I don't know, self-exceptionalist. Like why write so much about yourself? If it's about your goals, I support it. I do believe in writing
Daniel,
down goals.
It's to get to know yourself better.
Oh, to get to know myself?
You'd be surprised.
Is that a worthy endeavor?
Here's the thing. This is what writing's supposed to do.
Go ahead, talk to me.
You're supposed to be able to sink into this like stream of consciousness to where you're just, it's a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
You're discovering as much about yourself as you are motivating what you're learning.
I'm gonna try it.
By continuing.
I'm gonna try it.
Here's what I have found very helpful. Alyssa, like my best friend always journals after we fight bad, right?
Ooh.
And she says, I do 2 things. I write about what am I feeling right now, what happened, what do I wish that they would have done, and what does any of that change where I'm left at the end of that, right? So I came in at this feeling, and does that change where I am by the time I get through asking myself those questions? And she usually comes out with a different, just more accountability, more responsibility for what she does. And it's really helpful. It goes along with exactly what the program said. It's just like break down each instance. I didn't like this. The fear that kept me from saying what I didn't like was this. And I reacted because I don't like to not be heard. And that triggered not being heard or something, right? And those help me just like recalibrate really quickly, like when it comes to other people. I don't know if you guys do any, or if you guys ever need to recalibrate around people.
No, I really have got to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I
promise you, Dan, when you start to realize that all of these things that are happening are like, they're actually 1 or 2 character defects on overdrive, right? But they're in every part of your life. And a big one of mine was not being heard. But I was acting out in so many different ways because of that exact same core, that exact same stimuli. And once you know that, it becomes less of like, oh, I did that again, or Jesus, like, oh, am I just this person? It's like,
oh yeah, no room for mistakes.
I can put that in like, okay, I didn't feel heard, and that's what happened. Okay, next time I'm going to like, it just clocks your awareness for you to be able to be like, this is why this happened. There's a solution to it. Then you can be next time, oh, this is why this happened. Okay. And once you form the pattern, you can start forming the contrary action behavior. But you have to go to know what the pattern is.
I'm dead serious on this podcast saying I need to test that out. I could stand to get more in touch with how I'm feeling, because just from a youth, I kind of did not place much importance on my internal perspective on things. Like I was very utilitarian, like, okay, let's observe this issue that occurred. It was because there was a lack of this resource over here or that resource over here. And it's like just the pragmatics and the logic of it all that I would spell out about things. But exactly how I felt about stuff, I low-key have not placed enough importance on that. I want to try it just as an exercise, maybe for like a month or two, and kind of see what I come up with.
No, I encourage you to do that, Daniel. You have so many, like, you know so much of the knowledge already that I feel like you're seeking, and just sitting down and writing that out, like, I don't know. I felt so much better. I was literally like, okay, there's a plan in front of me now for my behavior, for my feelings, and it's almost taking it into that. You're going to be able to work more like it's off of an inventory in a business if you do this, right? Like that's you checking in with the business of yourself. You know what I mean? Like that, you have to keep an inventory to keep a good business running, you know?
Facts,
so it's
facts.
like doing that inventory will help you approach it in more of like this left-brained way. Cause I don't know.
Yeah.
Inventory is real.
Yeah, and I feel like based on your Cornell notes, it's like even a journaling structure where it's the same kind of questions you're asking yourself for each entry, you know? What am I feeling? What you went through?
Yep.
What was the situation? What am I feeling about it? What's kind of the
How could
synthesis?
I
What did I do that sort of caused, or what was done, and then what fear stopped me from acting in right alignment with myself, right?
Yeah.
And that's a you know, that could have started when you were 5,
Yeah, you
like
could have
that you're
learned
still
something.
acting that
Yeah.
out. But I encourage you to go in there, Dan, because you're a sensual, deep guy, and you should know like the depths of, like, I don't know. I
able to
want to
yourself
introduce
and
you
your
to
feelings,
yourself.
yeah.
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 I just feel like you're such a caring person that extra knowledge will just
Yeah. Introspection. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like therapy, the biggest thing that it always is like I call my therapist to talk about ... I say, hey, I'm struggling with ... And then usually what the session ends up being about is like, okay, let's put ... aside. What are you feeling? Or what are you pretending to not know you're feeling? Or what are you avoiding feeling? Do you know what I mean? Like it always comes down to some thing that I'm not even aware, but I'm avoiding facing in myself. And once I can get into the feeling, then there can be some integration, some movement, some fucking expression, some like, oh, this issue that has been plaguing me, I actually just needed to feel like, oh, wow, I feel fucking wounded and I've been running from that feeling. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, I know, like, this is so, like, I'm recalling moments in my life coming up in Mississippi, you know, backwoods of Mississippi, in the forest, pretty much farmland. Dude, all my life, I did, like I've been conditioned to say, but did you die though? Like for real, man up, bro.
Yeah.
And you said inside.
Did you? Inside, yes, maybe. So I think that there is something there.
Wow, there is.
Because I'm big on being solution oriented, and that to me feels productive and positive to do. But to assess how moments made you feel, it's like there's something there. I haven't placed value on it, and that therefore I haven't recorded it as an asset to keep inventory of.
Right.
But feelings and emotions in an experience,
and that makes
do
sense.
matter.
If did you die though is your barometer for importance, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's it. Yeah.
Like it only
It's not a
matters
priority if you died.
It only matters if you died.
Yeah.
Like that's cutting off 99% of your human experience.
But it's
man.
also that's the gift that you have of being able to compartmentalize.
Right.
That is a incredible superpower that I'm trying to put the lid back on some containers, okay?
Hey, I'll give you
I
some.
think-
tuck
I'll
some of
send
these
something
things
that way.
away.
I think that your ability to stay consistent, the most consistent out of all of us, is because you're able to bring back that bird's eye perspective when you need it. Emotions definitely
Yep.
keep you down in the stuff.
Yep.
So Dev and I are literally like, can't
Ruminating.
do it, because I don't feel like it. You would never say that. Like, I don't feel like it, so it's not going to get done. Like, and that is just,
Also
so we
a
just need to
strength.
switch. You know what I mean? We all need a little.
Yeah, well,
rearranging.
I mean, I feel like that's the thing with any of our, let's say, weaker areas. Like, they're also a strength always. So you never throw it all the way fucking out.
Character defects are just the other side of character gifts.
Yeah.
Like,
Biggest
that's
strength,
it.
biggest weakness. I like to think of it in percentages. Like, if there's something I realize that I'm, that's a pattern I've been fucking bad at. I usually try and take 80% of the weight off of it. I go like, okay, 20% I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me not make this 100% I fucked up or this pattern's bad or something like that, because it serves a purpose in a lot of areas. So yeah, I just like emotionally check in sometimes and go like, ooh, I'm adding like 100% shame to this self-awareness moment. Like, let me make it 20% if I can, you know?
And just lastly, checking in with yourself, just as somebody who has overlapped emotions my whole life with the most important people in my life. Knowing where you are emotionally helps you know which emotions are yours in any given situation. Like, we don't even realize how much we're feeling other people's journey, that's your stuff. That's your stuff. See, that pressure is going to break me. It's not going to make me a diamond because that's not my pressure, right? That's not mine.
Dang.
Right? So you got to know a little bit what is yours and what are you helping somebody else carry or facilitate. And if you are, that's fine, but you need to be aware those aren't my feelings.
Don't let that push you to
That's
your
not
breaking
my-
point
exactly.
because it's not your battle.
This isn't
Pick your battle.
my,
Yeah.
it's not my karma. It's not mine.
Can we do something really silly?
Sure.
Can we go back and like, you can pick like the last like 5, but the last notes you have, like read me one of the last 5 notes that you have in your phone.
We're gonna see. I don't know.
You can make it like the.
I mean, I've got Ned's notes, obviously, from our rewatches.
No, something not Neds related, like something, just a silly note to yourself. Like, what's the last like
actual notes.
stupid-
Okay, because I got random stuff in here.
What's the stupid silliness?
A dumb, silly note that I have is an idea for a TikTok series where I genuinely do a multi-part series of me genuinely getting into the flat Earth belief. So it says multi-part series of me getting into becoming a flat earther, failed experiments. Yeah, just a note to myself, because I've been feeling really like, I don't know, just bored and burnt out of TikTok. And just like, what do I want to fucking do on TikTok? I don't know. Like, every now and then I just throw like a dumb joke up there. But through talking with someone, like, we just came up with, wouldn't it be funny if I played it very seriously that I'm a flat earther now?
Dang. My notes. Dang.
Okay.
Man, go ahead.
My note. This was the last poem that I wrote to myself. Yeah,
go
we're gonna
on.
go out.
Okay.
I dream in citrine. No, that's not right. I dream in extremes. It's always me, unable to pack all of my things, running for transport. I never remember, and the chaos, confusion weigh heavy like the bags I've managed to pack and the items still around that bear evidence of our existence. I am ashamed. Woot woot. But just like the last personal thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, personal, it's tough. It's tough. I really don't have. Well, some of it I don't want to say on here actually, because I think I do take time to write little messages to people. I'm like, I should have said this to this mother. Oh, that's what I said to you. But let's see. Sometimes they're just ideas. Like, I had an idea for this app, and it was a function whereby a person can apologize to someone anonymously. And that was like a thing that I was working on. And it's giving them options like you apologize to an ex, a parents, children, a pet, and you just, hit return and it stores it in a repository. And it's like you can release that from yourself without having to actually have apologized to that person. I don't know.
I think that's contrary to what an apology is, Dan,
No, but
I
that
get
also
it.
no, that's so I get it, because it also serves a purpose in certain, I don't know, like self-work processes, is like, write that letter to that person. You don't have to send it, you know? Yeah.
That's all I got.
I like that.
Damn, Dan, I like it.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers to you, Dan.
Absolutely.
Writing that
Take some. I don't remember writing that at
I
all.
don't remember writing that the fucking all.
Come on, more guys. Give me something. Juicy. Thrust is the rate of change of momentum. First derivative of momentum.
I also have a whole bunch of these.
Just talking shit?
Bunch of those.
Just talking shit?
Yeah.
Like,
myself?
you
So
pathetic
much.
piece of shit. I write that out a lot. Oops.
Well,
But then we have toilet paper, rubbing alcohol, Celsius.
yeah, lots of to-do lists and lots of lyrics.
Yeah, a lot of to-do list, yeah.
Man.
I
Yeah.
said, this one says, nothing is wrong with you. Get the fuck up and live your privileged life, you ungrateful piece of shit.
Damn, I got some of those too, yeah. Oof.
Yeah, we had a good
Hey.
talk on that.
Hey.
No one wants you.
Damn, Lindsey!
Maybe
Fucking
I don't need to
idiot.
be taking these notes.
Damn, Lindsey!
Y'all can have that diary.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Have to.
Come on, Devon, let us in, man. I know you
Let
got
us
something in there.
in,
Give some of
man.
that juice.
It's so many.
Do you have notes from when you were going through your last breakup?
No. My last breakup was
He's
so
like,
long
nah.
ago. And that would be in my handwritten one.
No,
That would be in my written one. Anyway.
Well,
Also, I just have a note of all the questions that I'm going to ask you at live shows, and some
Oh,
of them have
can't
been
wait.
used and some of them haven't.
nice.
Yeah, but
Devon's not gonna share any-
He's not going to
No,
share.
I'm
You
not.
got the juice in
He
there.
has a-
Now, this is something, though.
No,
this is
give
something
it
to
give
do.
it to me. Give it to
Oh,
me.
no. I'm
So
just
fun.
saying this is great
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll share
Anyway.
more on another pod.
So the tips that we have to give.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The tips that we have to give.
Yes. Tips.
The tips. Wait,
Tips.
you guys, let's.
The tips.
I would say, write yourself a little note. Write yourself a little love letter. Huh? Get your thoughts down on paper. Even if you find out you hate yourself, at least you know.
Hey.
I'm gonna say, you're going through something. Life's feeling a little weird, a little wonky. Ask yourself throughout the day. Make it a practice. What am I avoiding feeling? That's it.
Nice. Notes will help you prioritize things you want in your life. So write that stuff down and pursue it. Pursue it before someone else gets you on their wavelength, because then you might pursue what they want you to do. But it's your life. Take charge.
And if you don't want to write it down in the alphabet, you can always use thought squiggles like Daniel.
Wiggles and squiggles.
Thanks for being here,
the job
guys.
done, guys.
Next wiggle.
Audio pod on Friday. We'll be back next week. We love you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Hey! Thanks for watching this week's episode. Guys,
shout out.
is it time for
Super Friends Dance!
Thank you for being patrons. We love you. Special shout out. Thanks for making this this podcast possible. Go to patreon.com/nedspod
That part.
if you want more from
That
us
part.
and to support us. We love you.
Love
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.